Coming up next, a new focus on potential threats across dating apps and social media.
Nothing was private of me anymore, and that hurt.
Hear from a victim and learn how to protect yourself.
Plus, how a potential football playoff game at Penn State may pose a challenge for some local businesses.
That's going to happen the week before Christmas, after much of our staff has already left town.
And celebrating 100 days till Thon with a record-breaking fundraising event for the kids. The Center County Report starts now.
Good afternoon, I'm Yaya Wan.
And I'm Josh Bartosik. Thanks for joining us for the Center County Report. Our top story, the latest on the Pennsylvania election, which still isn't officially decided yet. The U.S. Senate race is now going to a recount. You can see the latest results here. The Associated Press called the race for Dave McCormick last week as he beat longtime incumbent Senator Bob Casey. But the vote difference is within the margin to trigger a recount under state law. Counties must begin that recount no later than next Wednesday and finish it by November 26th. Casey has not yet conceded the race. Republicans also filed a new lawsuit yesterday asking courts not to allow counties to count mail-in ballots where the voter didn't write a date on the envelope as required by law or wrote the wrong date. The other big election news this week, Republicans have won enough seats to control the U.S. House. The GOP will now have the White House, the Senate, and the House.
We have new information today in the case of two former Penn State football players accused of rape in Center County. Kavion Keys and Jameel Lyons both face felony rape and sexual assault charges. Both were scheduled to have their preliminary hearings in Bellefonte this week, but we've learned their court dates have been pushed back until next month. The alleged crime happened in July at their on-campus apartment. Police say the victim was a 17-year-old student.
Dating apps and websites make it easy for people to connect these days, but for some, it's led to a nightmare of stolen identities and catfishing scams. Haley Jacobs is in our studio with more. Haley?
That's right, Josh. As social media scammers find new ways to steal your personal information and your money, experts say it's more important than ever to be cautious about who you trust. I talked with one woman who became a victim twice.
Swipe right and match. It's easy until something goes wrong, like someone stealing your identity. Penn State student Clarice Batista was shocked when she started getting random Instagram followers and messages from men she didn't know.
They would DM me and say I love the pictures you sent me, and you're so pretty on your Tinder account, and let me be your sugar daddy, all this. And I'm hold on, what is happening? I got really concerned.
Batista says she has a boyfriend and was confused when men started saying they matched with her on the dating app Tinder. She says that's when she discovered someone was using her social media pictures as part of a catfishing scam to trick people into giving them money or blackmailing them. Batista claims a classmate was to blame. A girl from her high school created fake dating profiles.
They said, if you don't send more or send me money, I will call your friends, families, and parents.
And she says it doesn't stop there. In college, another person also obtained explicit images of her. Police discovered her photos were being sold online, and Batista is now actively pursuing legal action.
Nothing was private of me anymore, and that hurt.
Penn State University's Chief Information Security Officer Bob Turner says college students are a prime target for catfishing.
It's more pervasive than you think.
Okay.
And you're in a vulnerable community.
In the United States, roughly 20,000 people become catfishing victims every year. It can happen to anyone, including me. Someone took pictures from my Instagram and created a fake Hinge profile.
Cyber scams have become more sophisticated with phishing emails, texts, phone spoofing. Experts say many prey on fear, urgency, and money. But there are ways to protect yourself, starting with being careful about online interaction and sharing. Also using a password manager, checking your bank statements, and turning on multi-factor authentication for your social media. Every step can help keep you safer.
You have the right to be feeling safe where you're at and safe with the people you're around.
For more resources on protecting yourself, check the American Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. I'm Haley Jacobs, now back to you.
Thanks, Haley. PennDOT is giving an update on state road projects as the construction season comes to an end. In Center County, a $30 million road restoration and drainage project on Atherton Street wrapped up. Ongoing work includes a $259 million new interchange project between I-80 and I-99 and a $6 million project on Route 26 in Marion Township. Another transportation update, CATA is adding 6 operating hours a day to the Beeline service for Bellefonte and Benner Township. Starting Monday, the Beeline will be available from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Riders are required to schedule their trips 1 business day in advance by phone. Fares are $4 and cash only, with no passes or tokens accepted. Free transfers are provided to CATA bus routes, but not to CATA Go.
Some major construction projects are in the works on Penn State's University Park campus. Holly Deemer tells you what's on the way.
Sidewalks blocked across the University Park campus, stairs closed, detours posted. It's campus life in a construction zone. As Penn State plans to close and tear down the Hammond building along College Avenue, new real estate plans have been approved. Last week, the Board of Trustees approved 2 large projects for the university. A nearly $100 million plan got the green light to build a classroom building along Bigler Road and East Park Avenue. The building, which will fill the lot behind me, is slated to hold several general-purpose classrooms, all fitting over 400 students. It's designed to address the shortage of large general-purpose classrooms. Right now, University Park only has 24 classrooms that seat more than 150 students, and enrollment numbers at UP show a slight increase. Penn State's Office of Physical Plant has begun the project, and the building will open for the fall 2026 semester.
With the announced university desire to increase enrollment of the freshman class, there has been identified a need long-term for additional instructional space. This was an existing need, but is further exacerbated by potential enrollment growth.
The second project will renovate the Sackett building, and soon after demolish Hammond. The new Sackett building will feature general-purpose classrooms and retain the historic design of the building. Part of the plan includes removing the added-on north and south wings of the building to preserve the original architecture. As the new year draws closer, new projects begin as this busy campus gets busier. In University Park, I'm Holly Deemer for the Center County Report.
This Sackett project is planned to start in the spring and finish in 2027 with minor detours around campus.
As the fall semester winds down at Penn State, most students are getting ready to head home for the holidays. That presents staffing challenges for local bars and restaurants, especially with a potential big event happening in December. John Hartley has the story.
Brothers Bar and Grill on South Atherton Street opened in February and has become a popular place among students and State College residents. While it's usually packed on the weekends, it's about to look a lot different as the fall and winter breaks approach. Not only will Brothers lose a lot of customers, it'll also lose a lot of their staff.
I'd say about 3/4 of my staff, about 75% of them, are students. That puts us at about 70 people.
Sam Hazinski, general manager at Brothers, says he plans to have enough staff to operate over Thanksgiving break, but he admits the atmosphere here will be a lot different.
I'd be lying if I said that it's going to be weird seeing, so many students gone. But at the same time, it's going to be a breath of fresh air to see the town come out and enjoy themselves during that period of time.
Although Thanksgiving shouldn't cause too many staffing problems, December may be a different story, especially with Penn State currently in line to potentially host a college football playoff game.
That's going to happen the week before Christmas, after much of our staff has already left town. And so we are already proactively planning for that sort of inevitability. We're making sure that we have the right amount of people in our building. We're making sure that we have the right people here over break, and we're making accommodations in the event that we need to make them.
While it would be challenging, Hazinski says there's a big upside for his business.
It's a good problem to have. State College is a better place when the Nittany Lions are playing well. I've noticed that just by being here even the brief time that I have been. So give me this problem 100 times out of 100. I'd love to see our football team get to that point, and I'd love to see us tackle that problem when we have to tackle it, to turn a phrase.
In State College, I'm John Hartley for the Center County Report.
If Penn State does host a college football playoff game, it would be played either December 20th or 21st.
Still to come on the Center County Report. How's our weekend weather look? See if there's a warm-up on the way in the 7-day forecast.
And a milestone for Penn State's Thon. Also coming up, the latest on wildfires that have been burning in New York and New Jersey for days. Stay with us. Penn State celebrated a milestone in the Journey to Thon 2025 this week. Reporter Holly Deemer takes a closer look at a special event for a good cause. The countdown to Penn State's Thon is on after the 100-day celebration in the Hub.
The event celebrates the end of the Dream Forward campaign, a 17-day fundraising initiative with the goal of raising $1 million for childhood cancer research. For 4 hours, the hub was filled with music, dancing, and speakers telling their Thon stories.
It may seem like such a small gesture for you, but from a Four Diamonds family and a childhood cancer survivor, your kindness and generosity means so much more than you can imagine.
The event brought laughs, tears, and cheers to Thon volunteers through its unique activities. Volunteers like Martha McElliott help bring in a variety of acts to entertain the audience.
Under the coordination of the other talent captains at Entertainment to bring 10 total acts to 100 days, varying from singers to a caricature artist. So it's been super, super busy, but it's fun to keep the energy up here.
After the events ended, the celebration wrapped up with a grand total reveal. This year's nearly $2 million fundraising total topped last year's by more than $300,000. This year's 46-hour dance marathon is set for February 21st through 23rd at the Bryce Jordan Center. In University Park, I'm Holly Deemer for the Center County Report.
For information on Thon and how you can help, go online and visit thon.org.
That's such a cool event in the lead up to Thon later this year. So it's kind of a gray and dreary day outside right now, though, here across central Pennsylvania. The leftovers of some rain that came through last night, which was beneficial and needed. It's about 43 right now, so it's slowly warming up, kind of this burning off the chill in this early morning here now as we head towards afternoon. Temperatures across the entire state, still 43 here in State College, kind of a cold spot because it's just taking a while to burn off that muck, more or less. It's 55 already down in Philadelphia, so it is starting to warm up once you get towards the eastern and western sections of the state out of the mountains. This afternoon, though, we will get up into the 50s, so it will be a generally comfortable day in the end as we get, some sun starts to break through. But then it drops down into the 40s as we go into the overnight hours. Tonight's forecast for all the rest of the state, it's about 44 down in State College tonight. Clouds sort of meander through on and off. Wherever you get less clouds, you'll probably get colder. It does get into the 30s up towards Bradford and stay closer to the 50s as we look down towards Harrisburg. Now, Saturday day planner tomorrow, fall finally feels like it arrives, which I know it's been a while. It feels so warm for so long. It's a chilly start, about 41 for your start, but it's a cool but comfortable day as we get up towards about 55, mid-50s. And as we get towards sunset, it will cool down, but it does feel like November. It is almost Thanksgiving time, believe it or not. So it will feel sort of like a November day. As we look forward in time, again, those clouds that I mentioned that'll sort of meander through in the overnight hours, it won't be impactful, but it will be there. Tomorrow, those clouds will burn off, especially in the eastern half of the state. They'll stick around a little bit more as we get towards the western half of the state. So you'll start to see a little more clouds if you're out along I-80 driving west. It will clear, though, as the day goes on, and our next real interesting adventure will be these high clouds that start to roll in late in the day early in the morning on Sunday, and we'll go through the day on Sunday. You'll see these clouds fill in west to east, thicker along the northern tier for sure. So that's Sunday evening. You'll start to see those clouds start to roll in more than anything else. And our next weather maker will be on Monday. This is Monday morning. This cold front that drapes itself through. This is Monday morning as it's coming through here. Rain around and about. As we get into the further out into the future, that's where things get a little more interesting. I am mentioning the S word. That is snow, a possibility, especially in the western half of the state. That's Thursday afternoon and evening. So if you are traveling, that's where it could get interesting, especially as we get towards break. Then it will clear itself out by Saturday. But in our 7-day forecast overall, though, it's sort of a nondescript week, to say the least. But until we get to Thursday, that's once again, I start to mention the S word, snow, believe it or not, in late November.
Well, let me tell you, Sean, I definitely did not take our warm fall weather for granted. Now it's time to bust out the big old coat and walk around campus looking like the Michelin Man. And honestly, I'm not too excited about that.
Well, we've been so warm for so long, you got to feel like sooner or later the other shoe's going to drop.
I mean, me personally, I'm super excited for snow. I grew up in North Carolina, so it barely snows there. It's normally really warm. And speaking of snow, let's switch to the other side of the spectrum. You talk about, Sean, a big weather-related story continues today. Wildfires are still burning in New York and New Jersey. The largest one, the Jennings Creek fire, has burned over 5,000 acres along the Jersey-New York border. It's now 50% contained, and several structures remain under threat in the Greenwood Lake area. Several hundred brush fires have been reported across the Northeast in the past several weeks. Now we'll send it over to Dylan with sports.
Coming up next in sports, Penn State hockey opens Big Ten play at home this weekend. plus a look at high school football playoff matchups. Also ahead, the Nittany Lions are back at practice as they try to follow up a whiteout win with another dub on the road against Purdue. We preview the game. I'm Dylan Price with sports. After a whiteout win, it's on to West Lafayette this weekend for the 4th-ranked Nittany Lions as they get set for a battle with the Boilermakers. Let's take a closer look at the game. The Nittany Lions are coming off a 35-6 whiteout win over Washington, where the Huskies brought more bark than bite. Now Penn State is back on the road for the first time in 3 weeks and will try to stave off an attempt by the Boilermakers to be Spoilermakers. Tyler Warren again starred last Saturday, punching in 2 rushing touchdowns while adding 8 receptions for 75 yards. Coach James Franklin says his campaign for award season continues to get stronger.
It's not even a question that he's the best tight end in college football. You can make the argument he's one of the most impactful football players in all of college football.
It's not a surprise for fellow tight end Khalil Dinkins, who continues to be wowed by Warren.
He's just an all-around player. You know, he's that multiple trick pony, and you can just put him whatever, and you know he's gonna make a play. You know, we'll see him in the league. Can't wait for him to do big things up there.
While Warren may be playing on Sundays soon, Penn State is ready to take on a Boilermakers team that's 1-8 and had tough sledding in Big Ten play, with a conference worst mark of 0-6. Questions surround the availability of Nick Singleton after the running back left in the second half of last week's game, but Franklin says he's confident Singleton will be good to go. The Nittany Lions stand at 8-1 and 4th in the new college football playoff rankings, but Franklin still has more he wants to see from his squad.
Last week we played as good of a first half as I think we've played. We got to put it together for 4 quarters and be able to have a kind of a killer mindset, like, keep your foot on the pedal for 4 quarters.
Penn State is undefeated on the road this season and will look to continue to be the victors as the visitors. Kickoff at Purdue is set for 3:30 p.m., and you can listen to the game live on Penn State Com Radio with our broadcast team in West Lafayette, Indiana. And worth noting, Penn State has also sent out information to season ticket holders about a potential home playoff game in December. Now to high school football. The playoffs roll on for teams in District 6. Let's take a look at the schedule. The 10-1 State College Little Lions head to Williamsport tonight for a matchup with the 7-5 Millionaires in the first round of the PIAA state playoffs. Penn Cambria remains unbeaten and plays 4-7 Somerset and Forest Hills for their first round PIAA matchup. And finally, the 12-0 Hollidaysburg Golden Tigers head to Milton High School to face 8-4 Abington Heights in their chase for a state football crown. You can see highlights on our sports show After the Whistle live at 11:30 tonight on our YouTube channel. That's PSU Belisario College Student Media. To hockey now, the Badgers are in town as Penn State opens Big Ten play at Pagula Ice Arena. Anthony Descher looks ahead to the game.
Pagula Ice Arena will get its first taste of Big Ten action this weekend as the Wisconsin Badgers come to Happy Valley. Conference games mean a lot to the schedule, but for some, it runs deeper.
I want to beat them. We didn't get to do it last year, so there's definitely a fire there. I want to beat those guys really bad. And there's a couple of us with connections to whether it's Wisconsin with coaches there. We all want to beat them.
Reese Laubach was once committed to Minnesota State, excited to play under head coach Mike Hastings. But Hastings was hired to be the Badgers coach, leaving Laubach behind. Adding to the storylines, Aiden Fink was committed to Wisconsin before flipping to Penn State. He planned to play under Tony Granato until he was fired and replaced by Hastings. Goaltender Noah Grannon grew up a Badgers fan. He committed to Wisconsin before flipping to Penn State as well.
The Nittany Lions are looking to get back on track against the Wisconsin Badgers at Pagula Ice Arena. The Badgers are currently 1-5 in Big Ten play, and with Throwback Night and the Teddy Bear Toss on the schedule, Pagula Ice Arena is surely the place to be this weekend.
Penn State went winless against Wisconsin last season, but the iron is hot to get back in the win column. With new throwback uniforms and a Teddy Bear Toss for the kids, the series has a lot to look forward to. In University Park, I'm Anthony Descher for the Center County Report.
Penn State is 4-3 on the season. They play the next 3 series at home before hitting the road in December. The defending national champs are back in Rec Hall to open the wrestling season on Sunday. Cale Sanderson and the Nittany Lions are looking to win their 4th national championship in a row. The Lions will host the NWCA All-Star Classic exhibition tomorrow and will have their first match against Drexel on Sunday. Penn State women's volleyball is looking to rebound in Rec Hall after a loss. The Nittany Lions square off against Illinois tonight after a tough loss against Wisconsin. It was just the second loss of the season for Penn State, only losing to the Pittsburgh Panthers early in the season. Tonight's match is set to start at 7 in Rec Hall. And Penn State men's basketball hits the road for the first time this year tonight. The Nittany Lions will tip off against Virginia Tech in Baltimore. The game is the second matchup of the Hall of Fame series that also features a contest between Virginia and Villanova. Penn State is 3-0 this season after a strong win over St. Francis on Tuesday. Forward Puff Johnson set a new career high with 20 points in the 92-62 win. Tip-off is set for 7:30 tonight. And the women's team is 4-0 after a big win yesterday against Niagara. That's all for sports. Now back to you, Yaya and Josh.
Busy week for Penn State sports. I'm most looking forward to that Penn State hockey series. I mean, you have brand new throwback jerseys tonight. They're going to look awesome, and the teddy bear toss. Such a great cause. You can't miss it.
Jerseys are cold, by the way.
I mean, Penn State sports have been doing so well. I'm super excited to see the Nittany Lions continue their winning streaks. Thanks, Dylan. Coming up next, Santa Claus is coming to town. He'll be part of the popular annual event in downtown State College. Find out more after the break. Christmas magic will be in the air next week as State College kicks off the holiday season with the 5th annual Light Up the Night event. It'll happen next Thursday from 5 till 8 p.m. on Allen Street and at MLK Plaza downtown. The Winter Carnival features holiday music, free food and beverages from local vendors, and charitable events including a toy drive and food drive. Santa Claus himself will also make an appearance for the lighting of the tree at the Allen Street gates.
That's all for today's newscast. We hope you'll join us Tuesday for our next local news update.
And you can follow us anytime for breaking news on our Center County Report X. And you can see our stories on our Facebook page, Instagram, YouTube, and our website. Have a good afternoon.